Previously, we covered how to structure and automate a simple repeatable process. Now we will take it one step further. In this video, we will focus on the dynamic repeatable process. We'll review a sample use case, go over how to structure templates to support such a process, and then look at the automation to dynamically build projects. Throughout this video, we will focus on a sample use case for a software company to manage the post-sale customer onboarding process. The process is kicked off once an opportunity is marked as closed won. When we reviewed the simple use case in the previous video, the onboarding process was the same for every customer. Now let's assume that the process evolved and it became necessary to incorporate variations into the onboarding structure based on what the customers purchase. Taking that into consideration, the dynamic onboarding process is structured based on opportunity products sold. To illustrate this further, let's use a sample opportunity. Looking at the opportunity, we can see that there are some products added, including an implementation package and a training package. The idea here is that each of the products is associated with a unique post-sale process that must be managed for the customer. More specifically, let's say that the implementation package requires a set of unique steps to assist the new customer with the initial configurations of the purchased product. Meanwhile, the training package requires managing a set of unique steps to execute product training for the new customer. To summarize, the post-sale process for this opportunity consists of two sub-processes, one to manage the implementation work and one to execute training. Ultimately, every opportunity is unique and could incorporate various combinations of products sold. While our sample opportunity had those two specific products, other opportunities might include other products, such as advanced technical support or implementation assistance for some add-on product functionality. As you can see, opportunities can have different combinations of products and, therefore, different requirements for structuring their post-sale processes. So, how does it all work? In summary, there are four main focus areas for configuration, which are product setup, template configuration, template to product mapping, and finally, automation. As a quick reminder, having a well-defined opportunity framework is critical for this configuration. In other words, your sales process and structure must be clearly defined in Salesforce, ensuring that relevant opportunity data is consistent for every sale. Without a solid framework in place, it will be challenging to automate the dynamic post-sale project creation process. With that said, let's dive in. The first step is to outline the products that will be incorporated in structuring the post-sale process. Think of products as your catalog of offerings, which can include things like product licenses or services that your organization offers to customers. It is possible that this is already in place in your org. If you already have products that correlate with post-sale process requirements, it is recommended to leverage those for this configuration. Once the product catalog is defined, the next step is to create the necessary TaskRay templates in the template hub. For the dynamic repeatable process, you will need a couple of templates, the base template and the product template. Both are required for this configuration. Think of the base template as the shell for new projects. Depending on your use case, you can either leave the base template empty or you can add some tasks to it. Adding tasks to the base template could be helpful if certain steps must be managed for every new customer, regardless of what was purchased. For example, it can include tasks for team introductions, sending welcome packages to new customers, or reviewing account setup. The second template is used to store all of the product-specific sub-processes. These are going to be the building blocks for dynamically structuring projects. Similar to how we looked at the catalog of products, the second template is used as the catalog of processes tied to each of those products. Let's navigate to the template hub to see how we have it set up for our use case. First, let's take a look at the base template. For our example, we've added a few tasks to the base template to account for tasks that must occur every time the onboarding process is executed. These tasks will be included in every dynamically structured project. Next is the product template. In our sample product template, we have several task groups, one for each of the products in our catalog. Within each of the product-specific task groups, we've added relevant tasks and used checklists to outline granular to-dos on those tasks. We've also added milestones to denote key events. From the technical standpoint, each product-specific process must be organized into its own designated task group within the template. Once all the templates are done and activated, we can move on to the next key step of the configuration, which is mapping the templates to products. For this, we will first need the addressable ID of all the product-specific task group templates. As a reminder, addressable IDs are unique identifiers for TaskRay templates. Considering that a template could have several versions, the addressable ID will be consistent across all versions of the template. For automations, referencing the template by its addressable ID is a best practice. It allows the automation to pick up on the most up-to-date and active version of the template automatically. To get the addressable IDs, we'll navigate to the product template and select the option to get IDs, which will generate a report. Now that we have the IDs, the next step is to map the task group templates to their respective products. In another tab, we'll navigate to the product catalog and open one of the products that is part of the process. TaskRay provides a designated field for mapping templates to products, which is called the Template Task Group Addressable ID. If you do not see this field on the product page layout, then you will need to add it via the Object Manager. Using the report, we will paste the applicable task group addressable ID into this field on the product. This will allow the automation to reference applicable template task groups for dynamically structuring projects. This step should be repeated for every product and task group template. Once all the product to template mappings are in place, the next step is to configure the automation that will dynamically construct projects. To reference our sample use case, the customer onboarding process begins immediately post-sale, once an opportunity is marked as closed won. Then, the customer onboarding project is created based on the products related to the closed opportunity. So, how does this apply to automation? First, we'll use the closed won opportunity stage as the trigger criteria. Then, we will reference opportunity products to determine which template task groups should be combined to structure projects. If you recall from previous videos, TaskRay provides a set of flow templates that make it easy to set up and automate the project creation process. We will be using two of those templates. Open the one labeled TaskRay Create Project from Opportunity. This is a very simple flow that does two things. It holds the trigger criteria and launches the second flow to build the new project. By expanding the start element, we can review the predefined criteria to trigger the automation. By default, the automation will be triggered whenever the opportunity stage is set to closed won. Since that aligns with our use case requirements, there isn't anything that we will need to update here. The other element on the flow canvas references the other piece of the automation. We will look at that flow next. Confirming that everything looks good, we'll save and activate the flow. Next, we'll proceed to the other flow, which is labeled TaskRay Create Project from Template. Looking at the flow canvas, you'll notice that there are more elements involved. That being said, there are only a few minor updates that we will need to make for our automation to work. Before we make those updates, let's do a quick review of what this automation is designed to do. At the very top, we have the start element. Right below are elements that check for opportunity products and loop through those products to determine certain project criteria. More specifically, the loop captures the task groups that should be used for structuring new projects, along with how those task groups should be scheduled. This is where the template to product mappings that we configured previously come into play. Finally, the last element on the canvas is the Stitch a TaskRay project Apex action. The Apex action takes inputs provided by the flow and creates the new project. Now that we've set the stage, let's make our updates to the flow. The key update that we will need to make is provide the addressable ID of the base template. For this purpose, we'll open up the toolbox in the left sidebar and open the base template ID variable. In another tab of our browser, we'll navigate back to the Template Hub and locate our base template. To generate the report, we'll select the Get IDs option. Once we have the ID from the report, we'll return to the flow and paste it into the default value field for the variable. Technically speaking, that is all that needs to be done to configure the automation. That being said, a few optional configurations could be made, such as specifying how the new projects will be named or how to schedule each of the task groups. For now, we'll keep things as is, but you can explore the customization options in the resources linked to this module. Since we are done, we'll save and activate the flow. To wrap everything up, we'll follow Salesforce best practices and test our automations to make sure everything is working as expected. For this, we'll use a sample opportunity and add some products to it. To trigger the flow, we'll set the opportunity to closed won. In a real-life scenario, this could be a sales team member who is updating the opportunity to close the sale. If the automation runs successfully, we should see a newly created project linked to the opportunity. The new project should be structured based on the products that were added to the opportunity. To put it into a real-life scenario again, this would be the project that the implementations team would use to onboard the new customer. Looks like we're good to go. We covered a lot in this video. We focused on the dynamic repeatable process use case and explored relevant configurations, including templates, products, and automation. Now that you have a good grasp on these concepts, think about your own implementation and identify the approach that works best for you. And if you ever need assistance, we're only an email away.